fewer and fewer, fewer and fewer plants here. Must be some out in the garden, huh? Let's take a look. Take a look here in front of the shed where I got some pots and containers that really still need to go somewhere. Finally, some spinach up. Spinach just seems to be an issue with me. It's on the, it just wants to bolt anytime I grow it. I just get very little of it. See, the royal lettuce is really starting to take off. I'll thin it out here next few days. I got some more coming in there, and that's there's some kind of lettuce in here. I think this is another type of lettuce. More lettuce. And a guy stopped by and gave me these cherry tomato plants. It's looking a little rough, but I up-potted them into bigger pots, and they're looking pretty good. I have to find a spot for them. Mums are doing good. Some kale back there. These are some marigolds. These are the sunflowers. I can't believe they haven't drowned. And the last few years, I've had a little trouble with sunflowers. I just don't know what the deal is. But had a cabbage here. I think this here is that Dutch cabbage. Seems to be pretty good. Look at the garden. Here's the thyme I started last summer. I overwintered it. If you'd watched some of my other videos, you might have caught that. But yeah, we had some chilly weather there for a week, and I put this straw up along here for this north wind coming out this way. There's cornfields and bean fields out there. There's just no cover for them. That's some collards, cherry tomato, some kale, some more kale, kale. You'll see a lot of kale in this garden. I eat a lot of it. And this cherry tomato here, I think I'll take off some of these bottom leaves here. They're a little close to the ground. I think that's one thing I've learned is, you know, it just pains you to cut leaves off these and branches off these plants. But the only way I can see to get rid of like rust and things like that in this damp area is to just keep it up off the ground, and I'll see if I can't get them up on the trellis. And there's her super sweet tomato, cherry type tomato. I just planted these right there, so it says here it's got a little sunburn on it. Now that is a super beef steak, and once again, it's just something that I'm just too hard-headed. I keep planting because I've had seeds, but I just do not have good luck with this beef super steak or whatever they call it. It seems really just disease, and it just scrubs off early in the season. Here's a pepper plant. This is a multicolor. I have no idea what color it is, of course, but actually there's two of those in there. I just left them in there. We'll see. Maybe one will be one color and one will be the other color. That'd be kind of cool. But I just planted these a couple days ago. And let's see, I put the straw up around them. Kind of keeps maybe the varmints away a little easier. There's two also in this spot. And it's also multicolor. And you see another one there. Looking real good. There's the peas, and there are some peas on here. And really, they're getting awful large, really. There's actually two types of peas in there, a sweet pea and a snow pea. And I've had none of them die, and I don't know which was which until I see this. This must have been the sweet pea. That one's not even in the ground. It's sitting in this pot covered up there. Cherokee tomato. Plant there, they've been in the ground a few days. What I want to talk about is crop rotation. You just don't hear anybody talk about rotating their crops in their garden. And I always do. That's why sometimes my plants maybe don't turn out the best, because I'm having to grow them in a spot that these green beans here, they're coming along. I think the bottom leaves got sunburned. I cut them off there. They just wasn't hardened off good, I don't think. And these were planted the same day, but they done a little better for some reason. I think they must have some reason been hardened off better. I don't know. But, and when I talk about crop rotation, they do the same thing out here in these fields. One year they'll plant green beans, excuse me. Easy for you to say. One year they'll plant green beans, and next year they'll plant, and here is this guy here, in addition to the garden. Turn around here and look at us. Being shy. There is that's some kind of blue cabbage. And you can see where the slugs has gotten into it, or on it. And it has about every one of these, and I've removed the leaves. I'm going to remove these too. But I put salt around them, and just a very little salt, some Epsom table salt around them. And I haven't seen any more. I don't know if it's just coincidence or Epsom salt around them a little bit gets rid of them, but I don't know if it harms the plants or not. But here's the resident scarecrow. Pick that up. There you go. Resident scarecrow. Breeze gets to blow and he kind of moves around a little bit. Pretty quiet guy, but anyhow, crop rotation is like one year you'll plant corn in a spot, next year you'll have beans, a little patch of asparagus, and or cabbage. And then the next year you'll plant something else, you know, like I'll plant tomatoes in one spot, and then the next year I'll plant, say, peppers in that spot. Don't plant the same plants, and you know, like next year I probably won't have any, Swiss chard or tomato or kale here. I'll have something else. It'll be a different. Last year I grew here cucumbers. Having a brain fart. I grew cucumbers here last year in these two spots. Here now, as you see, I got kale and greens and tomatoes. But like here, this was the row of tomatoes last year, and this is going to be the row of peppers. Peppers has done good. They've got a few bug plates on them. Excuse my finger. But anyhow, I don't know. You just don't hear anybody on YouTube or anywhere talking about crop rotation. And I think that's kind of an important thing. I don't know. I just don't hear anybody doing any kind of videos on that. But like here I have cabbage. Now next year I won't have cabbage here. I'll put probably kale here, because that's what I had here last year, I believe. And I'll switch this out here for something else. But some years you have to plant things in places you really would rather not plant them, because you know they're not going to do their best. But to get the crop rotation, that's where you plant them. And the Swiss chard is finally starting to come off. I picked some of this yesterday morning, about 24 hours ago. There's some greens. See, I got that picked down to just a few leaves, but they're starting to come off. They've sat there. They sat here in cloudy, rainy weather for 4 or 5 days, and then they're hitting finally some warm weather. Now I haven't put these covers here on these eggplants, and I'll have to really keep an eye on them, because they're very small, and there's these little black bugs. They're little bitty things, just tiny, and they hit something that small, an eggplant that small, they'll eat it up in an hour. I've had them overnight, or one day, almost eat a full-size plant up. They're pretty treacherous. But anyhow, yeah, the crop rotation I'm just not hearing anything about at all. And here's still the manure pile. Been working on that. Compost pile, been working on that. And I still have this many straw bales yet to go. But I've been working on this other side here a little bit more this year. Kind of expanded back out with the garden. Hold on. Here we are. Beef eater, multicolored pepper. Rest those are multicolored peppers. I'll plant something in between here. I have some more kale yet, or I might plant some spinach, I don't know. And I've got some of that, I've got some more cabbage ready. And I think I'll plant like 4 heads of cabbage right in here. That's my plan. And I reserved the option to change my mind. That I need to add some more straw in here. I just didn't grow down in here for a couple of years. I'd had some sheep manure amending this in here and filling this up. I'll let that break down. So this hadn't had anything growing on it in a couple seasons right through here, and it's had a lot of amendment. So I'm hoping it shows itself off this year. They always do when you first really amend them like that real good. They'll always, and you know, let them set for a year. You know, I try to do the no dig. I use a potato fork to break it up. I dig the hole first to plant it. But this year I kind of turned that soil over a little more because I had more stuff to amend it. I had some lime and calcium I wanted to get in there because I think this garden showed signs of really needing that. Oh, I didn't even say who I was. Hey, this is Dillinger 101. Gardening with Dillinger. Thank you for gardening with Dillinger. And today's lesson is crop rotation. Crop rotation. Do you rotate your crops in your garden? I mean, I just don't hear anybody talk about any of that on Facebook. Or Facebook, YouTube, or Facebook. Yeah. So anyhow, that's the deal. Now see here, it was cold, had that coolness. I piled this up around the cages. To kind of keep the breeze off of them. Plus, these hadn't been hardened in as well as I would have liked. And I've taken some of it down, actually. I did have it piled up higher where it wouldn't get in direct sun, but so many hours a day. And that was kind of worked out good for me, putting that, you know, straw up high, you know, and where the north wind wouldn't come in on it, and then the sun wouldn't hit it. In the morning, it's this old oak tree right here is really growed up. It's starting to really shade this place pretty good. I may have to move stuff up that way a little more. But anyhow, crop rotation. Do you do that? Do you know anybody that does that besides in their cornfield and bean field and wheat fields and all that? Well, thank you very much for your time. If you enjoyed this video, hit like. That always kind of helps get you out there a little bit, and lets me know you appreciate it. And if you want to keep up and not miss all this excitement, adventure, and just write down good old pure wholesome entertainment, hit the subscribe button. That way you won't miss any of the antics. Thank you very much for your time. Dillinger 101. Have a great day. It's going to be a little warm today. It's going to be a great day. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Look at this. Look at it. You see that? See that over there? And beans. Thank you very much for your time.